I know this is the grammar concept you've all been waiting for. Relative, 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 pronouns, pronouns, pronouns. Which in English are that, which, who, and whom. To give you an example en anglais, let's take la phrase suivante, the following phrase. I saw a movie that I really liked. Now, what is the relative pronoun in this sentence? Anyone? Anyone? Well, it is that because it connects the clauses I saw a movie and the subordinate clause I really liked. In this sentence, what is the relative pronoun? I like Audrey Tautou, who is in a new movie. Well, it's who because it connects the clause I like Audrey Tautou and the subordinate clause is in a new movie. Maintenant, en français, il y a on étudiera dans cette vidéo trois pronoms relatifs. We'll look at three relative pronouns in French. Qui, que, and dont. Qui, which is always before a verb. Que, which is always before a subject. And dont, which is also always before a subject, but has some baggage to it that will be addressed later. So for now, just concentrate on qui and que as your only two options. Regardons cette phrase en français. Let's look at this French sentence. J'ai vu un film, j'ai aimé. The question becomes, what relative pronoun does one place here? Well, if we look at our chart, qui always comes before a verb and que always comes before a subject. Remember, we're not going to worry about don't just yet. Looking at the sentence, the next word is a subject, je. And as it is a subject, out of the two, qui and que is our only option. Because remember, we're not focusing on don't. So our new sentence becomes, j'ai vu un film que j'ai aimé. This next example is my personal préféré. Star Trek est un film que j'aime. The question again is, between qui and que, which of those two relative pronouns goes in the blank? The answer is que because you have the subject je. Let's try this sentence. Audrey Tautou est l'actrice joue dans le film américain The Da Vinci Code. Between qui and que, which relative pronoun is appropriate for the sentence? Again, we have to look at the next word, which is joue, and joue is a verb. Looking at the chart, the only answer is qui. The new sentence is thus, Audrey Tautou est l'actrice qui joue dans le film américain The Da Vinci Code. Looking at this sentence, j'adore les films étrangers sont en chinois. Which relative pronoun goes here? Sont is the next word. And when you look at the chart, the answer has to be qui, because qui always comes before a verb. Our new sentence is, j'adore les films étrangers qui sont en chinois. Pour revoir, to review, when do you use qui? Remember, you use qui when the next word is a verb. When do you use que? Remember, you use que when the next word is a subject. Thus far, we reviewed the relative pronouns qui and que. You use qui as a relative pronoun when the clause you're connecting begins with a verb. You use que when the clause you're connecting begins with a subject. But what about don't? Remember I said it had some baggage? Well, let's delve into the unique relative pronoun that is don't. Remember the old rule that says you should never end your sentences with a preposition? Well, this is something up with which I will not put. At least in French, anyway. You see, many linguists agree that this old English adage about prepositions stems from an arcane attempt to overlay Latin grammar rules onto the English language. A quaint, if not unnecessary, attempt to add regularity to English. In French, however, it is imperative. It is absolutely necessary. Il est très important that you do not end sentences in a preposition. Allow me to demonstrate what I mean in French with an English example. This is the movie you spoke about. Now, the preposition at the end of this sentence is about. And if we were to apply that arcane rule to this sentence, we'd have to eliminate about. Or rather, you'd have to reposition it. Your new sentence would read, this is the movie about which you spoke. Notice how about which now operates like a relative pronoun. Voyons la même phrase en français. Let's look at the same sentence in French. Voici le film tu as parlé de. The preposition at the end of this sentence is de. And remember, you cannot have prepositions at the end of sentences in French. So you have to eliminate de. Or, like I said earlier, simply reposition it. As the sentence splits again to allow room for the new relative pronoun, we don't simply shift the de back into that space. This is where de becomes don't. Our new sentence now is Voici le film dont tu as parlé. So just to recapture what happened here, whenever a phrase would normally end in de in French, you must replace it with don't. Regardons cette phrase. C'est le dernier Horcrux Harry Potter a besoin de. The preposition at the end of this sentence, once again, is de. And once again, you have to eliminate the de, or rather, you have to reposition it. As the sentence splits, you can't simply replace the de in that space. It has to be transformed, once again, into don't. La nouvelle phrase qui est plus correcte, c'est le dernier Horcrux dont Harry Potter a besoin. Here are some phrases to look out for that commonly have the preposition de after them that you'll need to replace with don't. Avoir besoin de, avoir envie de, avoir peur de, avoir honte de, parler de. Pour revoir. When do you use don't? Remember, you use don't whenever a phrase would normally end in de. This is when you must replace de with don't.